Divya Jyoti Jagrati Sansthan, founded and headed by His Holiness Sri Ashutosh Maharaj Ji, is a socio-spiritual organization working towards its vision of global peace. Under its spiritual initiatives, the organization presents the 40th link of the enlightening series Prerana Pravah, Incessant Inspiration.
Everything in nature has a law of being. Burning is the law of fire. Cooling is the law of water. Fragrance is the law of blooming flowers. Caring is the law of a mother. Protection is the law of a father. Obeying parents' word is the law of children. Understanding is the law of friendship. Likewise, there is a law of being in the Guru-disciple relationship also. The law of Guru is to enlighten the disciple by bestowing on him the eternal science of self-realization, Brahmagyan, and thereby awakening him to his real existence. There's a famous verse from Skand Puran that says, Guru is the one who takes you from darkness to light. The Upanishads expound that Guru takes you from a life clutched in mortality towards one, immortal, free and liberated. The Vedas say at the moment of inception into the path of self-realization, the Guru conceives the disciple into his spiritual womb. And thereafter, he actually plays a multifaceted role in the disciple's life. That of a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a friend, a teacher, and what not. Guru is therefore compassion in abundance. It becomes duty of a disciple to surrender his all at the lotus feet of the Guru. This is the disciple's law of being. Guru is selfless. The only motive of his life is the spiritual evolution of his disciple. That's why he gives him love, care, compassion, concern, and also sometimes unfavorable situations, adversities, and tests of time. If a sculptor will not beat the stone or cut it or scratch it, then how will the sculpture take its form? That's what a guru does. But in all this fervor, he never leaves his disciple alone. Rather, in an invisible form though, he does provide his support from within. Have you seen the fire of a yajna? It kills the impurities inherent in the oblations offered in the yajna and at the same time enhances the real nature of the same oblations. For instance, twigs of wood otherwise produce smoke when burnt in the open and cause air pollution. But the same twigs of wood, when burnt in the fire of yajna, purify the environment. You know why? Because the master is pouring some herbs, essences and oils from his side that cause a change of nature in the same twigs of wood. In the same way, Guru ignites a divine fire within the bosom of his disciple through Brahmagyan, the eternal science of self-realization. The moment this knowledge is imparted on the disciple and the divine fire kindled, that very moment a Gyan Yajna starts in his life. Lord Krishna, in the 37th verse of chapter 4 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, renders a thought-provoking analogy. He says, as the blazing fire reduces fuel to ashes, so does the fire of divine knowledge, Brahmagyan, reduce all actions to ashes. Burning of actions to ashes means the bad aspect gets eliminated and the good aspect gets strengthened and enhanced. What happens when you burn an Ayurvedic herb into ashes? The impurities burn away and the benefits spring out. It is always wise to have medicinal herbs in ash form than having them raw. Likewise, when a disciple surrenders unto his master's lotus feet, he undergoes a similar process. In this Gyan Yajna, the Master, who is the Guru, puts his divine grace supplementing the oblations of disciples' good and bad aspect. Therefore, his vices get eliminated while his virtues get exuded brightly. A true disciple must always give this scope to his Guru. I remember in one of his discourses, Sri Ashutosh Maharaj Ji once said, "A true disciple is the one who is bereft of 4 eyes. Eye for ignorance, eye for inability, eye for inactivity, and eye for injustice." Here, ignorance doesn't mean lack of material, textual, or scriptural knowledge, but it means lack of discriminative intellect to judge what is right and what is not, what ought to be done and what is not to be done. Inability means lack of virtues, lack of good conduct, lack of dutifulness. Inactivity means lack of courage, lack of enthusiasm. And the 4th one, injustice. It means never be unjust and never tolerate any kind of injustice being done to anyone. Always raise voice for truth and righteousness. Removal of these 4 eyes will be complete elimination of the bad aspect. At this stage, by the elimination of bad aspect and the enhancement of good aspect, the disciple has learned how to stand on the spiritual path. But now, Guru teaches him how to walk. The journey of spiritual alleviation boards a superfast express now. Though a teacher teaches the class of students throughout the year, but she knows the students will learn the most during exams. A mother also adopts the same philosophy. She holds her child's hand and for days she teaches him how to stand. But one day she suddenly leaves his hands and moves far away. There's a moment when the child is not able to see the mother. But the next moment he sees her approaching him with stretched hands. Now she stops and calls the child towards her. The child attempts, tries to walk, falls down, gets up again, starts walking. And not just that, he runs towards his mother and she embraces the child. The child learns how to run. An ice cube falls in the ocean and melts into it and becomes the ocean itself. Guru doesn't always grace the disciple in visible form. Sometimes he does create a physical distance also, not to scare or torture the disciple, but to raise his level of consciousness. He comes down from his higher level, holds his disciple's hand and pulls him up. This is when the disciple becomes an image of his master, his Gurudev. It's easy to be a good son or a good daughter. It's easy to be a good brother or a sister. It's easy to be a good mother or a father. It's easy to be a good friend, a good employee, a good neighbor. But to be a true disciple is not an easy ball game. That's the reason Lord Krishna repeatedly said to Arjun during his Gita discourse, "O son of Kunti, stand up and fight." That's the reason Swami Vivekananda reiterated the Upanishadic verse again and again. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is achieved. Do you have the will and the courage to be the one? I leave it as a question for you all.
For additional links of Prerna Prabha, Incessant Inspiration Series, visit www.djjs.org.